Yesterday, after I had finished recording that about, I was talking about the people who want to play different parts, and like they make it where it's only this person can play this, and they just keep doing that more and more and more. To, I mean, it's kind of silly. Like you think about it, like, I mean, are they going to start having it be? Little girls can't dress up as princesses and brides because they aren't one, or that, oh, they can't pretend like they're moms. I mean, that should be way out of line. Little boys can't pretend to be cowboys and Indians, and you know Halloween, the only thing anybody could really honestly dress up as is crazy clowns, because we're in a fucking clown world. So, you know, I mean, if we're going to just go by, you can only pretend to be what you are. Don't pretend to be anything else, because that's just, that's being rude to somebody who is that. Whatever. It's so weird. Um, so right after I said that, I had turned on Breakfast at Tiffany's. It kept popping up and popping up, and I couldn't find anything to watch. So I was like, fuck, I'm just going to watch Breakfast at Tiffany's. I love old movies. And I couldn't remember what it was about at all. And so right away, we got Mickey Rooney playing a caricature of some Asian guy. He's got giant teeth, goofy glasses, talks, silly and stuff. It's probably fun creating this caricature thing. And that's the thing, is that, it's one thing when an actor just creates this character, and brings this character to life. But it's another thing when the establishment or the corporation begins to use that against the people, to form our thoughts, to program us, to just like, okay, there's this guy who I see around the neighborhood all the time. He's friends with these people over here. And he looks so much, oh my God, he looks so much, but except he wears glasses, like that guy, what is that guy's name? He was in The Hangover. He was a dentist who lost his tooth. He's in all sorts of movies, and he always plays that same person. Just like the woman who I was talking about, the one, Stifler's mom. She always plays the same person, right? He always plays this same character. I think it's typecast or something when they do that. But so this neighbor guy looks so much like him that you can't help but think, like, that's the personality that's going to come out of him. He's going to be this bumbling nice guy, kind of a nerdish, kind of, misunderstood. I don't know the guy's personality at all, but just looking at him, that's what I would see, was that guy. So there is something, in our brains that gets formed when they keep showing us these things over and over and over and over again. And they know that. That's why they do it. They know exactly what they're doing. This isn't, an accident that just happened to poor mankind. No, this was all done completely on purpose. That is where you gotta see through the illusion, because it's all fake. It's all created, and it's all created to control our beings. And it's part of the habitat, creating that little environment to get us to believe what they want us to believe, to see things as they want us to see them. And this constant separation of downplaying human beings as bumbling fools, just people with huge problems. I couldn't believe yesterday too, every fucking movie I turned on, it was like hardcore sex. It's like, man, I've seen a lot of people in movies have sex, and I don't watch porn. but I've seen a lot. It's like, why? Why do they push it on us so much? And when did they start shifting into violence being so much a part of what they were pushing on us? You know, because that was all done. It like it like curtails or dovetails or whatever. It goes right into the rest of the stuff that they're trying to do, because they, you know, if you think everybody's a fucking moron, you hate everybody, you're frustrated, you can never get ahead, this whole system's out to get you, you know, they have it to where you don't feel connected, you know, social media is dead, this is fucking swamp. And so you can't find fulfillment. You know, if you believe in God or anything outside of you, then you are, you know, some kind of kook. You know, you can only believe in the scientists that are paid for by the controllers. Whatever they say, that's real. So, you know, it's just all so to beat us down, and it's all so on purpose. But, you know, Mickey Rooney playing that character, he probably fucking won an award for it. Wouldn't surprise me, because, you know, I don't know his whole history. You know, I know he started his career very young. And the thing about the movie industry is that, you know, like you're somebody who wants to go and you want to make it. You know, you're just like, oh, you know, I was in all the school plays. I've got talent. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make it in movies. And, you know, you head out. If you can even get in to see somebody, then, you know, if they want you, they want to mold you. You don't get to just go out there and be yourself. You don't get to just go out and, you know, be your authentic self. I mean, we're seeing that right now with that girl from the superhero movies. She's getting, you know, if you don't go along with their narrative, you are done for. And you have to promote what they want you to promote. You have to be willing to just give yourself up, give yourself to them. All your freedom is they are in control of you. It's very dirty, you know? And I think it's hurt a lot of people, because there's been, you know, such a huge amount of people who want to go and be movies. They made it about glamour and stuff. Like in this, you know, it's supposed to be so glamorous. They're all drinking scotch or bourbon on the rocks, or maybe a splash of water. They all, you know, are smoking nonstop. And then look at how many people in that generation that they killed off by glamorizing these things. They killed off a huge amount of people because you can't just sit around smoking cigarettes and drinking scotch on the rocks if you want to be healthy. It doesn't work that way. And so, you know, a lot of people have died of cancer and liver disease and stuff like that. And, you know, that whole generation too, because I grew up in this generation of these, you know, everybody sitting around smoking and drinking. And that went on for a pretty long time. And kids were an afterthought. You know, you were just go outside and, you know, come in when it gets dark. You know, we talk about drinking out of the water hose outside. Well, that's how you got to drink. You wanted some water that day. The hose is out there. You know, there's no going in and out. You don't come in, you don't get glasses dirty. What? You need to get a glass to get a drink of water? No. There's a hose outside. Turn it on, drink it, and go play. I don't want to hear your bullshit. That was what, you know, that time that we grew up. But, you know, we were adventuresome and adventurous, and we, you know, we went out and experienced, and we did crazy shit. Sometimes I tell my mom, like when I just saw my mom, I was telling her, you know, there was this one point, I'm not sure where we were, But, you know, I fell off this cliff and I was dangling, holding on. I thought, this is it. I'm fucking dead. And my friends pulled me back up. There were so many times like I've been grabbed, thrown. This one time, my friend and I, we got grabbed by these, they were Mexican guys. You know, I lived down in Texas, so there was a lot of Mexican people. And they pulled up in a pickup, and we were walking across to go to the mall. I think I've talked about this before. But all of a sudden, they opened the door, and they grabbed us and pulled us in the car, in this truck. And I started fighting. Like, hell no. I mean, if I'm going to start fighting my own dad, I'm definitely going to start fighting a stranger. Same with that other guy who grabbed me and Jennifer and took us in his house. I thought that was it. I thought, man, nobody's ever going to see me again. Nobody even knew we came in here. You know, we're dead. And I was fighting. I will fight until the end, you know. But there's so many times that things would happen and our parents were oblivious. They had no fucking clue. They were all wrapped up in their own thing, you know. And then disco came, and that whole thing where they all just, you know, would go out and go dancing all the time. I just remember how they would come in and dance around and stuff. And my one friend who was 16, who was sneaking out, who I let her borrow that outfit of my mom's. And my mom ends up at the same bar as my friend that night. I didn't go to bars when I was 16, but this girl did, Carol. She did. You know, I think she was really into disco. I'm not really sure. It's kind of funny because you just, you know, like you knew each other, but you didn't really know each other, you know. And I feel like I'm not, I think that it's always been something that just weirded people out, is because I'm not shallow. I'm not very surface. I'm deep. I want to understand you. I want to understand what drives you. I want to understand the world, you know. And that's what I focus on. And another thing that was interesting too in the Breakfast at Tiffany's was, so when I had just been talking about how people will hold you, this persona of who you were when they had this experience with you, they'll hold on to that person. They can't move past it. Well, funny enough, that's what was also in this movie. Because I'm telling you, this happens to me all the time. Like, I'll talk about something and then they will show me something as like a confirmation to what they're showing me in my head. You know, because I don't go and listen to I can't even stand to listen to other spiritual people talking about how they see things. Because I think we all see things a little different. So I don't follow anybody else or, you know, study their philosophy or whatever. You know, I just listen to my own. And, but they show me these confirmations all the time. So in this Breakfast at Tiffany's, I had totally forgotten what it was all about. And, you know, she was a fucking mess. You know, she was like the prime example of, somebody who couldn't feel love, you know, couldn't feel when she was being loved, because she had all these core wounds that were holding her back. And it was almost as if she was scared or intimidated to be vulnerable, to put love out, you know, to let herself be loved or give love. So she was one of these shallow relationships. And so in this, her husband shows up. It's a really old man. It was the guy from the Beverly Hillbillies, I think. I love that show. I used to watch that all the time. It was such a good show. Batman, too. It was a good show back then. So when he came, he was even calling her by her other name, because her name wasn't really Holly. It was really Lulu or something. And so she she was completely changed. She was not even the person he knew. He married her when she was 14. 14. Like, think about that. Like, 14, married to some old man, raising his 3 or 4 kids. It's nuts. It's nuts what used to happen to people. You know, like a poor person, you know, that's what their life would be. Kids that didn't have parents, you know, you just became someone else's slave. Even poor farmers who couldn't make it would sell their own kids off. You know, I think that's what the whole thing about a dowry was like. Okay, well, I'll take them off your hand, but what else is coming with them? Because I need a little money here. So, yeah, it was quite a state of affairs for people for quite a long time. But so she, you know, Doc is totally, can only see her how he remembers her. He can't see this new person. He can't even accept this new person. It's like he all he can see is her. So his whole perception is of this other person, and how everything that she's doing or saying, he's perceiving it as my stomach keeps growling. I swear to God, it just comes with the territory. I start doing this, my stomach starts growling. But so he is seeing her, and her reactions can seem like, she calls Paul Fred, because Fred's her brother. And so Fred, Paul, whatever, he could be hearing and seeing something totally different, because he knows her as this Holly. And the other guy knows her as Lulu, I think her name was. And but that just played right along with what I was saying, how people just will hold you in the past. They'll hold this energetic imprint of you, of the past, although you're not even that person anymore. You're completely a different person. Not to say that Holly had, you know, she was definitely in this phase of her life that she had to learn a lot of stuff. You know, she had to learn a lot about love and about what's important. And, you know, she's willing to marry somebody just because they're rich. And, you know, she doesn't even consider about love or whatever. She's not, oh my gosh, my stomach. She's not even really, she doesn't even really know her own self or her own interests or something. You know, she knew she liked to go to the jewelry store. She knew she liked that, but like, she loved New York so much, but she was willing to blow it all off to go to Brazil to chase this idea of what she thought would make her happy. Like, well, then I can find happiness. But happiness was staring her in the face the whole time. Happiness was sitting right there, telling her, you know. And she just kept being like, no, this, you know, it's the ideas, it's the things that we perceive, that we build these structures over what's going to make us happy. And man, my stomach sounds like it's crazy. I don't even know if you can hear it. It's loud. But, you know, she's building this whole idea of what is going to make her happy on all of these structures or something. You know, like they tell you, oh, well, money, you know, if you're rich, if you don't have to worry about stuff, then you're going to be happy. Well, I think there's a lot of rich people who found that that isn't what's going to make you happy. What's going to make you happy is, you know, true, authentic, real stuff, you know, tangible, where you can feel it, you know, and not feel it with your fingers, you know, feeling this chair, feeling this blanket, you know, not that kind of feeling. It's a feeling that is inside of you, you know, and when you feel that connection and you feel like this authentic, that is where you find happiness. So how do you find that? Because it's not going to be in your money or your car, or, you know, finding the greatest thing for $2 at the thrift store. That's all like momentary, like little highs, you know, but that's not where you find your true fulfilling happiness. You know, that is all in connection. That is all figuring out who you are, really who you are, not who you think you are, because you bought into this Lego fucking life that they've given us, you know. Just build this and you're going to be happy. Just do this and you're going to be happy. The whole thing is, you just build this, they can come in and take it away from you. As a matter of fact, I think that they do it on a cycle. Here, you guys build everything up, then we're going to fuck with the economy. We're going to take it all away from you again, and then we're going to start over. So you guys are just on this hamster wheel. Just go, 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 go. How am I going to get ahead? You know, so frustrated. And I'm just so happy, you know, as I talk about this stuff, knowing that their system is failing, that it's being exposed, it's showing itself. And, you know, it's the end of the bullshit. So I'm really glad about that. Another thing too, oh my God, my stomach, was, you know, in that Upgrade, I think it was called Upgrade, that movie that I was talking about, where to me it sounds like what the real communication is that is going on. They have it as a computer chip in his head or whatever. And this is a real, this is a new movie. So I feel like that they were, and this is another thing they do that's tricky, is like they show this, you know, this possibility, like, oh, you know, get this little computer chip. You were like a fucking bionic person, and you're smart, and you can see everything, you know, you've got like someone watching that's seeing things that you're not seeing. Well, there is that. You just got to connect with it. But in their movie, you know, it's this computer chip that they're, you know, will put in you. And, but there was a little bit of disclosure, because it's almost like a disclaimer, you know, that they put, just like when they put their drug commercials. Yeah, this will make your life so much better. Just take this. Don't worry about if you get like, you know, bloody poop and you start vomiting up coffee grounds and shit. You know, don't worry about that. Just take these pills, because, you know, I mean, somebody could die. It's possible. But until you die, it will help you. You know, and that's kind of like what they did in this movie. It was like this, their little disclaimer. You know, yeah, it'll work really good until it takes over and you don't have any control anymore. Oh, and what was the other one I saw? Oh, no, it was this one. Yeah, I don't want to give away, you know, stuff, but there was this other part where your his consciousness was in a place that made him happy. And I mean, basically, don't we all want our consciousnesses to be somewhere that makes us happy? And so, you know, that kind of has to do with too, is like when you're here and you're conscious, but if you're constantly focusing on everything bad, which kind of sounds like what I'm doing, focusing on everything bad. I'm not focusing on everything bad. I'm trying to, you know, as this stuff is coming out, you know, like, let's put it on the table and talk about it. Let's look at it. I'm definitely not trying to focus on everything bad. So I sure hope that it doesn't come across that way, because I feel like everything is being exposed so we can get rid of it and we can move into such better times, you know, and all of these structures that have failed us because they weren't even created by us. That's the whole thing. We didn't create these. These other beings created this, and it was all to enslave us, to keep us controlled. And but I think that our consciousness, you know, does want to just be in a happy place. And you know, we have to choose to put it in that happy place. Like when something is stressing you out, this is something that I've been doing a lot lately, is like if something starts going in your head and you feel kind of like, oh, it's stressful or whatever, you can change the dialogue. You don't have to participate in whatever it is. You know, you don't have to look at it the way it's being shown to you and, feel this pain and stuff. Sometimes you need to feel the pain. It's going to help you heal. I'm not saying, pretend no pain is ever going on. But when there is certain things that are completely out of our control, like one of the things that I saw, I guess it's an ad. I don't know if it's really a true ad, but mailers coming out, and it's got, the regular thing with the little kid in Africa who's starving. And on the envelope, only it says, just go ahead and throw me away. Everyone else does. Dude, is that some fucking major manipulation? But that is the kind of stuff like, I mean, it used to tear me up. It used to eat me up when I was a kid. It's like, how can I be happy in this world? How can I enjoy anything when I know there's suffering? When I know there's people who are starving? When I know there's people being brutalized all the time? How can I be happy? And when I was struggling with that too, and that my dad's partner's wife killed herself. And when I asked my mom about it, and she said, just the sadness in the world was too much for her. She couldn't handle it. And man, I get it. The sadness in the world is a lot. There's a lot of sadness. And but there's certain things that are so out of our control, because don't forget, these are all different experiences that people are having, and it's out of our control. And why is it that we think that we know best for someone else? Like, think about how many times we think, well, if they did this, then this would work, it'd be better, because we think we know what's best for someone else. But that's not being respectful of them learning and figuring it out for themselves. So we have to just really respect all these different experiences to know that, death is not the end. And, it can scare the shit out of us if we think that it is, and we're sitting here watching all this tragedy. But, it's not. That's not the end. It's only the transition to something different. And, it's just that I kind of forgot what I was talking about. So can't pretend like I didn't. Maybe it's a clear sign that I need to just stop talking for today. But when you can close out all of that negative, and you can still focus on what is good in your own life. Like for me, for my own personal life, I feel like, man, I'm so blessed. I am so lucky. Not everything has to be perfect to make you feel that way. But when you just start noticing, like, all of the blessings, all of the things that are great, all of the stuff you can give gratitude for, when you focus on those things, it shifts how you feel. If you're just focusing on all of the sadness and the horrible things that happen for everybody, it's so out of your control, and it just makes you feel so sad and so defeated and so hopeless and so much like, the world, earth, none of it makes any sense. Being a human being doesn't make any sense. But when you focus on all of the things that are great, geez, it can just be like right now, just having the sun out for the day is like, oh my gosh, it's so nice to have the sun out, to feel that warmth. And another thing too, and I know I've said this before, but I think that there's something, if they're telling us all the time the sun's going to give us cancer, well, shouldn't human beings have died off a long time ago? And I don't know about their whole bullshit thing with, well, we've gone up and we've seen there's a giant hole in the ozone, and that is bringing in stuff from the atmosphere that's killing us, and it's the sun now is giving us cancer, and don't go outside without really putting a lot of cream on and stuff. And I don't know. And I go out, like last night, I have, I built this porch on the back with these big windows because I have this great place that just looks right out at this mountain and the sun sets right there. And so I have the east where the sun rises, but I have a lot of trees in the way, so I can't always see it. But then in the west, the sun setting, I have this really nice view. Not at the horizon, but it goes down behind the mountain. But it's still, it's nice. And so I was outside yesterday, because to me that's part of manifesting is, I'm going to have that porch back there, but I want to go out back there and keep experiencing what I'm going to experience. So I can, I don't know, it does something. It brings it towards you with the energy, like your beings, your team, your energetic, whatever, however you see it, they can understand what you want when you're showing them. When you're seeing what you want, then they know what to bring you. If that makes sense. That's how I see it. So, but when I was standing out there, and I was also thinking about these people, I keep seeing people talking about sun gazing. I'm like, I don't really know what it is. Like, you're supposed to look, you're supposed to squint your eyes, you're supposed to put some kind of filter or whatever. But the past couple days, I've, stared at the sun. And it is weird because it starts turning into something different. And the colors start becoming like, oh my God, it's crazy. The colors. And then at some point, everything even changed to it looked like, like when they used to take pictures and you had the negative. Everything looked like that, like the negative. It was really cool. It was quite, it was like a spectacular show of color, and it was really cool. But the feeling the warmth of the sun on your face, because you think about it, for how long did we celebrate the sun going down? We thanked it for its blessings all day. We appreciated the warmth that it brought us, and the what it does for our plants and stuff. We used to have such a different relationship with it. And, they've even, fucking gator bait wants to block the sun entirely from us. And it's like, I personally don't think the sun is giving us cancer. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but it does make sense to me that they could tell us that the sun is giving us cancer and that we could manifest that cancer in our own self. That makes sense to me. So, but feeling the sun on me, and I don't know, I'm telling you, the more you tune into what's around you in nature and connect with yourself, and you feel this connection with, when I go outside, I don't just feel like I'm looking at trees. I feel connected to the trees. I don't feel like I'm just looking at the sun. I feel like I'm a part of the sun. I feel like I'm a part of these things. And that's where you find hope. That's where you find fulfillment. It is the connection. So, and all of that has been so taken away. But still, people even try, because I think video games has been a lot to do with getting people to, I don't know, to favor violence. And it's like to favor violence, but it's this disconnection, and you just don't have a problem, like you've killed 2,000 million people in these video games. It all seems real. Then, to kill somebody in true life, you know, do you wouldn't, it wouldn't bother you the same as if you hadn't killed 2,000 people, because our mind is so much more powerful. It's just so much more powerful. And you know, that people are going to start seeing it. People are going to start understanding things on such a different level. So but anyways, I really wanted to point those things out. That tripped me out when I saw that yesterday, right after I was talking about that. And then I go in and he's playing a freaking, I don't know, Chinese guy or something. And like the nutty professor kind of guy. And it's just, I don't know. It's funny. Oh, another thing too in that show that I thought was kind of like before its time, but I don't know, you know, I mean, I didn't live back then, but, cause this would have been, I don't even know, but how the people dressed, it seemed more like how my grandma dressed. So, like when she was younger, that's how the people seemed to dress. And so I would say it's probably the 50s or something. But, and I don't know when it was made and if it was supposed to be made to look older or whatever. But anyways, this one woman who is keeping Paul, like he's a kept man. It's her, you know, sexual puppet. And she supports him with her husband's money. I don't think she worked. I think she was just married to a really rich guy who didn't pay her any attention. So she kept this handsome artist, you know, gave him this giant apartment and stuff. I was like, that's funny because, I don't know. It just seemed like a long time ago to show this like woman with that kind of attitude and stuff. I don't know. It's just, it's nothing to see that nowadays. Because even before, when I was talking about that they were doing that in that Lifetime movie, I couldn't even finish it. It was so fucking stupid. But it was all these old rich women who were using the high school boys. It was disgusting. I don't find any kind of a longing to have sex with somebody who's to me, a child. So it just grosses me out. I think it's weird. I mean, at least in Breakfast at Tiffany's, it was a grown-ass man. It wasn't a bunch of little fucking kids. It's just disgusting. So I'll just leave you with that thought today. And who knows? Maybe I'll say something else. I mean, it's fucking early. But I don't know. We'll see how the day goes. So have a great day.